Hi, David Waldas here. And I've been doing so much work lately with authenticity. I mean, it's always been the work I do, but it's been showing up really clearly around authenticity and really using that word specifically. And so I just came out of a session, and one of the themes that came up in it, some really interesting kind of shifts and takes on a lot of what's going on right now on the planet, what's going on in our political systems. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes to share with you really the idea of these two different clubs that are showing up for us. And so the club that's been existing, that's been running our world for a long time, is the Club of Sophistication. And so the other club that shows up is the Club of Authenticity. So let me explain a little bit about what the Club of Sophistication is first. And so I'll start by saying that there's so many of us that grew up, and while we were little, we watched adults, and we were told that at a certain point we'd reach this level of sophistication where things would be easy for us, where we'd be an adult and we'd be able to take on new ways of being, where we'd be able to know what we were supposed to do, and we'd flow through work, and we would be comfortable being powerful in the world, and all the things that we would watch adults as kids do, and that level of sophistication. And then as we grew up, we realized that man, being an adult is challenging, and we don't have the same outs that we did as a kid. You know, I remember working when I was in college. I was working at a pizza place, and one of the guys I was working with, he was on the line making pizza, and he's like, "Oh man, like 3 more hours left of my shift." He's like, "Man, I wish this was like kindergarten, where if I wanted to go home, I just had to pee my pants and I could go home." And so that's not the world of adulthood, right? We don't get to pee our pants and go home. We have to keep dealing. And so in this world of sophistication, this promise that was made to us that when we reached adulthood, that we would reach this level of sophistication, and that we would just be able to take charge in our life, and that things would be so much easier, that we'd know what to do, that we'd know how to operate in it. So we believed it, right? And so there's a lot of people out there, like maybe the large majority of the population, that still believe it, that still think that they're supposed to know exactly what to do all the time, that they're supposed to be the sophisticated ones, that they're adults now, so you need to be sophisticated, right? And so none of us really know exactly what we're supposed to do all the time. None of us as adults go, "Oh, well, now I'm an adult, I have this level of sophistication, this is what I'm supposed to do, and that's how I'm supposed to do it, and I just do it, and now life's comfortable, and I don't have the same unsureness, the same insecurities. I'm an adult now. I'm sophisticated." And so that being put upon us as if that's supposed to be our reality, as if that's who we're supposed to become once we're an adult, we go, "Well, if I'm not that, then I'm not enough. And if I'm not that, I don't want people around me to know. So I'm going to have to pretend. I'm going to have to pretend I'm sophisticated now. I'm going to have to pretend that I've got it figured out. I'm going to have to pretend that I'm not scared. I'm going to have to pretend that I don't need help. I'm going to have to pretend that life's great, and then I can put it on Facebook, right?" So when you join that club of sophistication, when you join that place that says, "I'm going to pretend I have life figured out. I'm going to pretend that I feel in control even when I don't. I'm going to pretend I'm not scared even when I am," then you are surrounded by a whole bunch of other people who are also in this club of sophistication, who are also going, "Oh, I'm not scared. I'm totally in control. I'm very powerful, and I know exactly what to do." And then they go and get home and drink 3 glasses of wine or a 6-pack of beer or whatever, and they cry themselves to sleep, and they freak out, and they get up in the morning and take a shower and put on their sophisticated face and go back at it. And so here's the reality, right? This club of sophistication that so many people have joined, it was something you were duped by when you were a little kid. It doesn't really exist. All these people trying to operate as if they're sophisticated, they're pretending. So if you've been in this club and you've been thinking, "Why can't I keep up? When is my sophistication going to kick in, where I won't have to feel like I keep pretending?" Like, that's the big illusion. That's if you want to call it a cosmic joke, it's not all that funny until we join the Club of Authenticity and go, man, I feel sorry for all those people thinking that they need to live up to that expectation of sophistication, thinking that they need to pretend who they are all the time, when they could really be choosing authenticity. And so it's interesting because these new generations that are coming up, we keep hearing about the Millennials in this political process. These are people that are coming onto this planet and they don't believe in the Club of Sophistication. They don't believe that the lies. They don't believe what they've been told about how they need to pretend to be something in order to feel powerful. That they need to, they just don't believe the bullshit. They don't believe the hype. And when we try to tell them stories that aren't true, they don't buy them. And so this is what's happening on the planet right now. And so those of us that are, that have been the front runners of the Club of Authenticity, that have shown up and have been, the bunker buster bombs that should go off everywhere, are going, that's not true. That's not what's going on. That when we've refused to play the game of sophistication, it's really scary to people who are really dedicated to the game of sophistication. Because when somebody shows up who is all about authenticity, it is so revealing to people that aren't, to people that are pretending. It's so scary that their gig's going to be exposed. And so if you're somebody who's been trying to live up to an expectation of yourself that was given to you as a child about what adults are, if you are somebody who struggles every day trying to be that sophisticated adult that isn't scared, that knows what to do, that doesn't need help, there's some really interesting opportunities showing up for you right now. Because this Club of Authenticity is the new club. And it's showing up bigger and bigger and bigger. And more people are joining it. And it's really an amazing place to be because we get to be real. We get to find what suits us and just be who we are. And that naturally sorts things in our life. We don't have to pretend. We don't have to be something that we're not. And so that is so much of the work that I do. That's so much of the video courses that I put on, and it's such an interesting thing to look at of how many people dedicate their lives to pretending that they're sophisticated. And so the last point I want to make about this, and this is a really important part of it, is what we're seeing right now in the power structures. And so whether it's at your work, or whether you work for a corporation, or wherever you work, or whether you're watching the political systems, it's about use of authority, use of power. And power gets exercised in one of two ways. It either gets exercised from a place of where we feel weak, and so we take power to try to feel strong, or it gets exercised from a place of where we feel our strength, and we use our power to create what we want. And what we're watching right now in the political system, the crumbling of what was people in the Club of Sophistication who felt weak in it, that are been utilizing their power to exercise their weakness to have power over others. And this new energy that's showing up that's so exciting, and for me can't get here fast enough, is people feeling their power and exercising their authority from their place of power. And they're two fundamentally different places. When we look at that and go, wait a minute, it's so clear that there's a huge portion of the population who's in deep fear because they think they're supposed to be something that they can't live up to. And so they're constantly trying to hide it. They're constantly trying to take power over others to maintain this illusion. And they're operating and exercising their power from where they feel weak, from that part of them that doesn't feel like enough. And now there's this whole new club of authenticity that's showing up going, this is what's right. And when I do what's right, it makes me feel powerful. And I'm going to use authority to exercise what's right, to exercise it from a place of power. And it creates two fundamentally different realities. And that's what we're watching in our political system. And those are the changes that we're seeing in our world. And to me, it's so exciting. And like I said, it can't happen fast enough because watching it is almost painful. But we're seeing a real clash of exercising authority out of power versus exercising authority out of fear. And this is that interface right now. These are the crossroads where those two ways of being are colliding, and it's moving into a place of authenticity. So we're moving there. It's exciting. All right, well, that just came through so clear in that session, and I just wanted to take some time to share it with you, and I hope that you find that really valuable, give you a place to put people, when you're seeing them exercising authority out of fear, recognizing that it's that little child part of them, the part that believed the illusion, believed the bullshit that they were told about the Club of Authenticity, I'm sorry, about the Club of Sophistication, and thinking that they're supposed to be members. And now that the Club of Authenticity is here, we don't need to pretend. All right, so blessings to you. Always great to connect, and I hope this message was really powerful for you. Thanks so much.